Shit, bro. I'm so fucking sunburnt. Anyways, today we're yapping about the rise of AI and how I think it'll lead to a new renaissance, a new age of consciousness and just spiritual growth in humanity. As we can see, like AI is not really what it was hyped up to be. I think some of that comes down to, like companies hyping up AI to, inflate their stock prices and all that. But I also think it just comes down to the nature of what AI really is. Like AI is simply trained on past data. It's just a computer that can just regurgitate data as been fed. There's no soul. There's no originality to AI. It's just constant slop and regurgitation and vomit. That's all AI bullshit is. Look at AI art. AI art proves that there is soul. Because in comparison to human art, it could never come close. Humanity has a divine power built in the image of God to really be able to bring forth the power from that source within us. And you can see it, the beauty of human creation versus the disgustingness, the absolute garbage AI just regurgitates of what is learned from us. And all AI has is just a limitation of the human mind. It just has a bunch of concepts created by the human mind, but it doesn't have the human mind. It's just regurgitating our shit. And I think by nature, it kind of goes in a cycle, right? Like, the Earth spends a lot of time in the sloppy stage, and naturally, it's like birth pains into a new era, a new higher worldview. But I don't like that term. Worldview is the wrong word, but a new outlook on reality for humanity. When we just have this slop, this vomit shoved down our throats, it naturally makes you think, like, why? Like, what is the purpose? Like, when we don't have to do all these bullshit jobs that everyone hates, that no one really believes in, now what are we gonna do? Like, what is the purpose? It causes you to really search within. And naturally, you begin to look at what your subconscious holds as like a spiritual guidance, being, Jesus, Buddha, like all the Hindus, like Krishna, Shiva. And you begin to look at these people because they're your subconscious guidance. Or maybe if you're more Western, it could be more like Socrates, Plato. And all of these people, they point to an inner journey. In Greece, it was the term know thyself. And they followed like the god of knowledge, Apollo. And then in Egypt, Thoth. It's all about this inner process. Buddha, about annihilating the ego. When you have no self, like what really remains. And then Jesus, the kingdom of heaven is within you. And when you go through this journey of, there's no more outer experience to be had. AI kind of, sorts all that out for you. The inner journey will begin for humanity. And this inner process of unraveling the onion of personality, of ego, of indoctrinations. There was something I always found interesting about what Jesus said. He would preach about, loving your neighbor, loving everyone. But then he would say to hate your mum and dad. He would tell you you have to hate your mother and father to follow him. And obviously Christians always go over this point. But I always thought it was interesting, like, how would he go from preaching then talking about hating? What is the deeper meaning of this concept he's providing for you? And obviously this is only my perspective, But I think it comes down to wanting to hate the idea of them in your mind. So in your mind, you have a lot of ideas, a lot of indoctrinations. And obviously in Jesus' time, that would have come from your parents. So your parents would tell you this is how God is. Like he was obviously Jewish, so like he grew up in a very strict Jewish community, and they would have had their parents shoving shit down their throats, slop of like, God is this, God hates, God is angry, fear God, all of this shit. And you have to hate that idea of your parents. You have to hate that voice in your head, telling you how things are. And I'll take it one step further. I think you should hate your teachers. I think you should hate your priests. I think you should hate the politicians, the news reporters. You should hate influencers. You should hate everything that tries to shove an idea down your throat. It doesn't matter if the idea is virtuous. It doesn't matter if it's an idea you think you align with. You can only truly trust your own inner compass, your own heart. And I'm not saying to become egotistical and not listen to others, but knowing can only really come from within you. Like people like to think they gain like knowledge. They think because they hear Shakespeare, they now understand Shakespeare. Or they think because they read a book of Buddhism, they now are enlightened. They think because they went and lived in India, they suddenly know Hinduism. You know? Just hearing words from others means nothing. You can only have true knowing from within yourself. Now, in that point, to expand on that, what is the point of listening to others then? They serve as a good guidepost, a good way of pointing. Jesus would say, like, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. And my perspective on this has been him saying, like, I am the way, as in, be like me. I am the way. Act like me, and that is the way to God, So by being like him, by acting in the ways he acts, loving, passionate, all these things, that is the way to God. And he serves as a good guidepost, he's like a concept, like the perfect man. Act this way. This is like the highest potential for humanity. But that's always been my outlook on Jesus. I do think, sure, he's like divine or whatever. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, I think the spark of AI will be a great catalyst for human consciousness, and a great renaissance will happen, especially given the internet. Like, sure, you look at people like Socrates and Jesus, whatever, they were murdered because they were spreading ideas that the collective didn't like. They were triggering the collective's slave mind. But now that we have the internet, there's a new freedom. Like a Socrates can come by and he can spread this message. You can kill him off, but his message, his spirit is there for the world to see indefinitely. He'll just spark a new Socrates, a new Jesus to take his place. The next age of knowledge, the next age of conscious expansion is inevitable and unstoppable. And I'm pretty excited to see it. It's a pretty exciting time, I must say.